Alright, so in this example, we're going to be looking at the composition of trig functions. Here we have the inverse tangent of the tangent of 6 pi over 7. Remember that an inverse trig function equals to some angle theta, and the restriction on theta for inverse tangent says that that angle must be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So that's going to be the restriction on this answer that we're going to come up with. So the next step is to move the inverse tangent to the other side, and that's going to give us tangent of 6 pi over 7 equals to tangent of theta. Now in this case we would just say, well, 6 pi over 7, that's what theta is going to be. However, 6 pi over 7 does not fall within the correct range. So we're going to have to find an equivalent angle for theta that'll produce the same outcome but falls within this specified range of values. And to do that, we're going to go to the unit circle. So if we look at the given angle, which is 6 pi over 7, we know that that's going to come up just a little bit short of 7 pi over 7, which is pi. If we look at this angle, six pi over 7 is pi over 7 away from 180, away from pi. So the difference here from 6 pi over 7 to 7 pi over 7, that's a difference of pi over 7. Now we know that this ordered pair in the second quadrant is going to be negative x positive y. Negative x positive y. And recall that tangent in the unit circle is y over x. So we're looking at a positive divided by a negative, which means that we need a negative fraction. And remember that we're restricted to looking from pi over 2 to negative pi over 2. So, first things first, we know that the first quadrant is out. Because in the first quadrant, x divided by y, positive divided by positive, is going to give us a positive outcome, but we need a negative outcome. So we know the angle that we're looking for is going to have to be in the fourth quadrant, and it's going to have to be equivalent to this amount right here. So this deflection here, this pi over 7, is how much this angle is going to have to be over here, but since we're going in a clockwise direction, that's going to be negative pi over 7. So this ordered pair that we're at down here in the fourth quadrant is going to be positive x, negative y, and a negative over a positive makes a negative, which is what we needed. And we know that this ordered pair will be equivalent to the ordered pair at 6 pi over 7 because they have the same amount of deflection from the x-axis. So, to sum it up, the answer that we're going to need, the answer for theta is negative pi over 7, and that angle does fall within range negative pi over 2 to pi over 2.